Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. This episode is brought to you by our sponsors, Watchman Cigars, Operation Decisive Victory, Webmerized, and this week's episode is brought to you in part by Free Lunch Coffee. Here at Southern Fried Philosophy, you know we have the heart for people and their stories. Another group of folks that have that same heart is our friends at Free Lunch Coffee. They have a heart where no child will go to bed hungry. To do this, they are selling some of the world's best coffee to you and giving you 50% of that money that goes directly to help the children. You get a delicious cup of coffee, and they get to help a child eat. What better way to start your day knowing that you are helping change the world? When you buy just one bag of Free Lunch Coffee, you are also providing 10 meals to children in need. Their coffee is specialty grade, certified organic, and fair trade. They offer a 100% money-back guarantee for 30 days, and if you don't absolutely love their coffee, they will give you a full refund while you keep the coffee. Free Lunch Coffee is offering a 10% discount to the loyal listeners of this podcast. Use coupon code SouthernFried at checkout. Check it out at freelunchcoffee.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast, where it's our take on life, liberty, and the pursuit of gravy, while you, the listener, are getting an invitation to come up on the front porch, grab a beverage, and set a spell. We've got a great show lined up for you, as always. But before we begin, let me introduce you to our starting lineup. Running the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live and manning the chat, it is Now You See Him, Now You Don't, Magic Man.
Hey, everybody.
At the control deck, it is our producer, Brian.
Hey, guys.
And I, of course, be your illustrious host, Biggun. And how about you? This may be the first time you're tuning in, or you could be a seasoned veteran, but what is this show all about? It's our take on our life, our opinions, our perspectives, our thoughts about the world around us, and we try to, throw in a little bit of Southern culture at the same time. Hey, listen, we may not all agree, but at the end of the day, we still respect and we love each other. And that's what it's all about. Producer Brian, where can people find us on the socials?
Yeah, you can check us out over on the Facebook at Southern Fried Philosophy. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at SFP Radio. We're also available by email at sfpradio.com. We have a few different email addresses there. I believe there's what's the main email address? I actually don't remember what that one is.
Yes, SFP radio at gmail.com. That'll go to one of us and somebody will read it, or at Mojo, they just read it and throw it away. So there's always that. You can support the show at patreon.com/SFP radio. Well, we're struggling with content, but if you just want to throw some bucks at us, we'd appreciate it. So there is that. Also, if you have a podcast, you have a video, you have some editing you need done, you can check out producer Brian's handiwork at emailing him at headlines@SFP Radio. That would be fantastic. Also, make sure you subscribe to YouTube and Facebook. We would appreciate that. Next week, we have Dewan Curse. He is a man that was born in West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground is where he spent most of his days. He's got an amazing story about growing up in that city, and man, very powerful. You want to tune in for that. Also, some big news. If you are a Facebook Live or YouTube Live watcher, we will actually be starting the show at 7:30 from now on. Usually we've been kicking it off at 8:30. It helps our guests, and it helps us get to bed early, because by goodness, we are getting old. And I don't like staying up that late. So there's that. We want to say shout out to our listeners from, we got one from New Zealand, by the way, this week. Hey. All the way to New Zealand.
All right.
How about it? Guys, do you realize that every week we are coast to coast? I mean, we go from Carolina to California every single week. That's amazing, right? By the way, Rodney says we're looking old, so I appreciate that.
Oh, well.
Buddy, I'm just going to tell you need to look in the mirror. Just say, love you.
Don't adjust your dials, folks.
Hey, also, we need some listeners from North Dakota, Alaska, and Vermont. By goodness, I'm going to keep harping. We just need these guys. Just one person to listen. Need to fill in the little chart, get all 50 states. That'd be great. All right, I'm going to ask you like I ask you every week. How you be doing? We'll go to Magic Man.
I be doing pretty good. Glad it's as again recording on a Thursday night, so tomorrow's Friday. Glad it's almost the end of a week. It's been a challenging one, but hey, glad to be here.
You know, the people that are listening to this on podcast are like, "Dang it, it's Monday. Shut up."
Monday. That's right. Yeah. Shut up. Well, I can put it this way: when it happens on Monday, then I'm like, "Oh, it's Monday."
Right. Just think of the joy that you had on Thursday. You're like, man, it was almost the weekend.
And there's another Thursday coming around too, so got that to look forward to.
Producer Brian, how you been doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I like to sip on the old magic brown water while we do the show most weeks. And this week I was really wanting to do something. What was that? Afterward.
That's why it starts off really good and then tails after.
Yeah, it makes me more interesting. It makes you more interesting. It's great.
I've been told I'm more fun too after.
You're more fun after I've been drinking. So there we go.
And that's to get me back from earlier, right?
Yeah, that coming. So what I wanted to do is they inaugurated a new president, number 46.
No.
I don't know if anybody heard about that. It wasn't in the news.
This week?
This week, I think, or last week, depending on when you're listening to this.
Sure.
So I thought, what I really needed to get was like a Maker's 46, right? Because the 46th president seemed like very thematic.
That's a
new era, things like that. Well, I didn't have one of those, and I didn't want to go to the store. So I got the next best thing.
Okay.
Which is old granddad. So, I mean, Joe Biden's not a spring chicken, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Seemed like the right pour for tonight.
Can I make one suggestion though? Keep that bottle away from your wife. You never know. You're going to wake up and that bottle is going to be sniffing her hair. There's that. Yeah. Can I ask you guys? So have you guys been to Walmart? In the South, we call it the Walmarts. Yeah.
Yeah. The Walmart.
The Walmarts.
Mm-hmm. What about the Walmarts? I don't partake in the Walmarts typically.
But okay, so Jess has been doing the Walmarts pickup. Where you get all your groceries. They'll put one tiny item in one giant bag. They'll drop them off at your car.
It's like Amazon.
You drive to the facility. Yeah. You drive to the Walmarts. It's great, man. You don't have to go in and do the shopping. We have a large grocery bill every week. So, it's nice that they just dump it all in your car. You leave. You don't have to get out and do the store. You don't have to carry a baby around, all that fun stuff. But when I went to the Walmart pickups on Saturday, I noticed something that every Walmart that I go to has. And maybe you guys can help me understand this. Why in the world are there seagulls at every single Walmart?
I'm sorry.
True.
There's seagulls?
Seagulls. I was just, sitting there and all of a sudden, I never noticed them. And I'm like, why are there seagulls? We're in North Carolina. There's no ocean close by, but there's always seagulls no matter where you go at a Walmart's.
It's probably all of the trash and food that's left in the parking lot.
But how do they get there? You never see them like hanging on the top of a Walmart's truck. Like, how do they get to that Walmart's?
There's not really. Seagulls usually hang out in their body of water, right? I mean,
well, like the ocean, because they're called seagulls.
There's lakes, but they're around the lake and stuff too. Is there?
Are they?
There's not really in Concord. I mean, there's a reservoir, right? There's not like a big lake though.
But
not like Lake Norman, huh?
I always thought that they had to be at the ocean. No.
No, there's definitely seagulls on Lake Norman.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
Well, maybe I don't know, but it seems like there's always seagulls at Walmart's. Anyway, it's frustrating.
I've never noticed that. I need to pay attention.
Maybe somebody in the chat, or if you have the answer, listening in the podcast, just, shoot us a tweet, Instagram, what have you, and just give us the answer of why are there seagulls at Walmart?
If we have listeners in like New Mexico,
right?
Are there
Arizona,
seagulls at your Walmart?
The Utahs,
or they're just rattlesnakes?
Rodney in Kentucky says they have them there in Kentucky,
right? But I mean, he's at a lake, so if it's going to be a lake thing, I get that. But they're everywhere, man. And here's the weird thing too: they're not at the Targets.
They're not. I was about to say they're not at Target. They're not at like Harris Teeter or another grocery store.
Right.
Actually, if you go to the Target on exit 23 in Huntersville,
that's the
there.
lake. That's the lake. So they're not the one. Mine's in North Charlotte. There's no.
Yeah,
weird.
I don't think there's any at the one in Afton Ridge here in Concord.
We have little sparrows at my grocery store.
Oh yeah,
like the little guy, looking for.
Yeah, I remember in Texas they were so plentiful. Like there were so many of them. You had to run from it was the Kroger's. You had to run from the Kroger's to your car, throw the stuff in because they'd pelt you. Like people were getting pooped on. They had to do something about it. They brought in like people to move them, but they still kept coming back. It was horrible. Anyway, so let's talk about the new presidente, the inauguration. Here's one thing that I want to talk about. Did you guys see Trump leave? And I mean, you could talk, Trump, good, bad, whatever. But when he left, it was the weirdest leaving that I've ever seen. He said like something to the effect of, "See you later." And then he left. And then the music to YMCA kicked on. Like, why is Trump playing the YMCA song? And he stood there with Melania while they got up to the YMCA part of the song. So it was like, bow, 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 and he just, doing the wave and whatnot. But then he started to leave when they were doing the YMCA. Like, are you going to the YMCA?
Was this at the airport? Like when he was
This was at the Air Force Base.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's, it's a fancy airport.
It's a fancy airport. I just thought that was odd. And then when he got on Air Force One, then it switched to Tiny Dancer. Like, that's just...
Also known as Tony Danza.
Right. I think the best, because I was listening, just had music playing, and I think the best thing would have been if you rode out to Rocket Man. Because remember, that was probably my ultimate Trumpism his entire 4 years, was when he called Kim Jong-un Rocket Man. That was the best part. Oh, I love that so much.
Yeah.
I just thought that was odd.
It was weird. Yeah. You know, what's kind of amused me as I was looking at news articles today, and a couple of agencies were referring to him as Florida Man. So Florida Man with nukes returns to Florida.
Okay.
He took the football with him, apparently.
He forgot to drop it off?
I guess. He thought he could hold on to it as a, souvenir or something. Just in case.
Yeah, he's going to put it, on his desk. Anything else from the inauguration you guys want to talk about?
I didn't watch. I looked up the speech, just the Biden's speech. I didn't watch the emotional bits. Apparently, I didn't see the poetry. Apparently, a lot of people are really excited about the things that happened. But I was working, I didn't really think about turning it on. But I was like, let me just hear what he has to say for 20 minutes. I thought it was fine. Yeah. It was good,
There you go. Well, I don't know if you guys have seen the Twitter handle Crazy Karens. Have you guys seen this? It's basically people that are screaming and yelling about just being Karens. Now, let me preface by saying my mother-in-law's name is Karen, and she's not a Karen. She's a very wonderful, wonderful woman that I love immensely, but she's not a Karen. But these people on Crazy Karens, so if you're watching live and you go to that Twitter account, there's a lady and I'm not going to make fun of her. I'm not going to, call her out because there's clearly some mental health issues going on with her. But there are other women that just refuse to wear face masks. Like that's their big thing. And they had the cops called on them, and, the cops are there to arrest them, and they just pitch a fit like crazy. So it's pretty funny to watch some of those. The lady that's there now, she's got some issues. But she's crying, talking about how, please God, make Trump be president. Like this stuff is just impossible to make happen. But anyway, and so I got to thinking, I started scrolling through my Facebook feeds, and I saw somebody, and I'm not going to call names, but they said that they almost got arrested at the Best Buy for not wearing a mask. Arrested. Almost. Not fully, but almost got arrested. And then I got to thinking, like, why are they worried about getting arrested? Like, they said it was because they weren't wearing the face mask. And I got to thinking, like, guys, you guys go into a 7-Eleven every day. Well, not every day, but you've been to a 7-Eleven, and you've never protested people where it says, like, no shirt, no shoes, no service. Like, if you're not wearing, feet, or like shoes, you're not wearing feet, not wearing shoes and a shirt, they say, hey, you can't come in. And so we've never thought about that. Like, why is 7-Eleven okay to say no shoes, no shirt, no service, but then Best Buy says wear a face mask, and then you got to get arrested for that? Like, or almost get arrested? I just thought that was silly. Like, and it's not even wearing a face mask. The deal is, like, you're trespassing after this company has told you this is what we need you to do to come into the store. I don't know. Your guys' thoughts?
So you're saying, was this person equating the 7-Eleven no shirt thing to, or is that you saying that?
No, I was just saying that on my own. Like, they were upset because they almost got arrested for not wearing the face mask.
Yeah, there has to be. There's something missing here. I mean, you walk in, they ask you to leave, and you refuse to leave.
Right. So, like, it's
what's
not
the next step? I
thing.
think they don't call the police just because you enter a building in the inappropriate manner. It just causes disruption. Like if you're belligerent, maybe like there's got to be something else.
Yeah.
Before the law enforcement gets involved, I feel like.
Right. I mean, there are, like, on that Crazy Karens, people are getting, like, hell-bent and determined they're not going to wear a face mask. They ask them to leave. They don't leave. And then the cops get called.
Sure.
But it's called trespassing. It's not called, I'm not wearing a face mask.
Private property,
It's private property.
Businesses have the right to choose who their patrons are.
And can I remind you all, I'm just saying, remember that whole case about the baker that wouldn't bake a cake because the couple were homosexual?
Mm-hmm.
And then we were like, oh boy, look, you can't make us buy a cake. Y'all, this was come back to bite you in the butt.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Anyway, all right. That's all my rants for today. You guys have anything you want to talk about?
I don't have any rants, I don't think. I did have a concerning moment this weekend, a personal moment here. So, I sat down. So I forget what I was doing, but at one point I walked out. I have a chair that I like to sit in the house, and it's been in the garage for a few weeks because the Christmas tree we swapped the chair for the Christmas tree, basically. There's no space. So it's January, the chair's back. So I went to sit down in the chair, and apparently I made a sound. I was like,
You made the sound, or the chair made the sound?
No, the chair didn't make the sound. No, it was totally me. So, and my wife was like, she kind of looked over at me because what I did is I walked over, I sat in the chair, I made a and then I picked up a newspaper to read it.
Oh no!
And then she just kind of like gave me this look, like, oh, really? So this is happening now? Like, what do you mean? I just got the newspaper from the street. I'm going to go look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then she starts making fun of me. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to get my phone out and play a video game instead. So leave me alone. But what has happened recently is for Christmas, my wife bought me a lumbar pillow for my office chair.
Okay.
A back massager pillow and the Daily Sudoku.
So Brian's new nickname is Producer Papa.
I mean, what's kind of happening here?
Producer Papa.
What?
This Producer
I did
Brian
turn 40 last year. It was
Producer
a big.
Papa
It's already a
doing
big
the
mental.
Sudoku. At least you're not wearing glasses yet.
Yeah, I have very good vision. I will say that. Can't hear anything, but I can see really good. Kidding.
That's such a Papa response. I can't see nothing, but my gosh, I can hear it.
I just make noises when who does it? You bend over or sit in a chair,
Oh man, that's classic, man. You've got to sit down when you're an old man. Oh gosh, let me get off my old aching feet. Have you started making old man sounds, Magic Man?
Oh man, I've been making old man sounds for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What?
Some of them my wife don't like either.
I got a work email today, and it said like, because you get the preview of the message, and it was like we found credit card fraud, blah blah blah, and it was on my work email, so that kind of was like, whoa, hey, what's going on there? And I asked my wife, I was like, is this fraud? And she goes, well, what's the email from him? And it said like fraud@fraud.com. I'm like, okay. That's a spam mail. And then she said, well, you're Papa now.
Yeah. Oh, my wife was comparing me to those. I think it's a Progressive commercial where the guy's teaching people not to be your parents. And apparently it's one where the people sit down and go, and he goes, did you really have to make that sound? Was that really necessary?
I love those commercials, by the way. Everybody sees it. His guys walks in with blue hair. Everybody sees it. It's blue hair. Oh, those are great. All right. So do you have any wacky news for us?
Oh, yes, I have wacky news as promised. So, in Chicago, this one was fun. A California man told police that the coronavirus pandemic left him afraid to fly. He was arrested for basically living in the Chicago airport for 3 months.
Wait, for how much?
3 months this man has been in the Chicago airport. 36-year-old man was charged with felony criminal trespass to a restricted area of an airport and misdemeanor theft after he was arrested. At a court hearing, the judge ruled that he could be released if he paid $1,000, but he was prohibited from setting foot in the airport. Let's see here.
He was actually arrested for not wearing his face mask.
Yeah, maybe. I was trying to find the. So basically, what he did is he managed to steal someone's identification, like found a badge, and that's how he got caught. He was using a badge because people were like, "Hey, why are you here?" And he'd like flash this airport badge or whatever.
Okay.
But someone asked him for it later on, and one was reported like missing, and whoever was asking figured out that this is the missing badge. So the police got called, but he was afraid of the virus. He was scared to go home from Chicago because of the virus. So he was in, and this is what really gets me. So he decided to stay at the airport.
Right. Which would be even worse.
Of all the places to take shelter from COVID.
Right.
Let's pick the place that has the most people going in and out of it. I mean, the next best step would be
all over the world too.
What was that, Magic Man?
I was saying from all over the world too.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
I mean, what could be worse than the airport? Legitimately, what could be worse? I mean, you're going to take your chance, jail. You're going to take your chance. How many people are on a plane? Maybe 200, but you've got like 200 people going by that like every few minutes. That's weird. And what was he just like hanging out in like the lobby, or was he hiding places?
I think he was hiding out a little bit, and people like gave him food, like treated him. I think he treated him like he was a homeless guy. But he was living in the airport. It's just bizarre.
Was it Tom Hanks?
Terminal. That was the worst movie ever.
I don't think
that was the worst Tom Hanks movie possible.
Is it like Castaway in the airport?
Basically. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's
All
great.
right.
To be honest, I think right now probably Bigfoot is probably giving him like a nice slow clap for that. Like 3 months, well done, sir. Like I'm still the champion of people not finding me, but 3 months is good.
Well, Bigfoot's about to be in trouble.
Uh-oh.
So apparently in Oklahoma, a lawmaker wants to institute a hunting season for Bigfoot.
Texas also announced their chupacabra hunting season.
An Oklahoma lawmaker has pitched a bill to create a bona fide Bigfoot hunting season.
Wow.
Yep.
This
is what the bill says. The Oklahoma Wildlife Conservation Commission shall promulgate rules establishing a Bigfoot hunting season. The bill states the commission shall set annual season dates and create any necessary specific hunting licenses and fees. Yes, it's a real bill. He's getting some pushback, obviously, from the Department of Wildlife Conservation.
By the Bigfoot lobbyists. I mean, they're out there.
Yeah, I have lots of... Apparently, there's a lot of sightings in the particular area that this representative is from. They have a lot of... I didn't know Bigfoot was in Oklahoma, even. Do they have trees in Oklahoma? I've never been there.
I don't think so.
I just think it was like big, like flat grassland. But who knows? So yeah, real life, that's actually happening. So apparently, the little subtitle here says that Bigfoot has supposedly been spotted in North Carolina, Georgia, Washington, and Oregon.
Oh,
remember?
Do you remember?
It's around.
Do you remember that clip I had? I wish we had it. It was a classic North Carolina man.
It's Gastonia, right?
With the Bigfoot. Do what? It
was in Gastonia or something, wasn't it?
I can't remember where it was.
Nobby is our local Sasquatch or Bigfoot. Should look him up.
So do you have to get a tag to?
That's what I'm
hunt?
thinking. Like, is it just count as big game? How many can you get in a day? How many Sasquatches can you bag at a time?
How come? Here's the other thing: is when people see said Sasquatch, why do they not have a camera on them? Or why? Most of the hunters are in the woods. Like, have they not seen him? And if you have, then why haven't you shot it? I don't understand it.
Yeah. How many people? I mean, I know a lot of people still don't have camera phones.
Who?
Like my mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law is not out hunting Bigfoot.
Yeah. Well, my money's on her. But yeah, it's it's ridiculous, right? I mean,
yeah.
Think about all that, because hunting typically is about conservation of the species. A lot of times, so they don't get out
that's
of
a
hand.
good point.
You got to have enough of them for them to be a problem. I guess one
Right.
Bigfoot maybe is a problem if it's just you and the Bigfoot, but I don't know.
What's your take, Magic Man, on Bigfoot? No judgment.
No judgment. He's got big feet.
You know what they say with a man with big feet?
Oh,
they probably stink. Bigfoot.
Do you think he's real?
I really don't have an opinion.
You don't?
Do I think he's real?
that's a yes.
Who knows?
What?
Who knows?
What do you think? I need an answer. Yes or no?
Who, me?
Yes.
He
won't say it.
I don't think he's real, but I mean, I'm also, if it's possible, but I don't think he's real.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Okay. More likely, Bigfoot or aliens?
Bigfoot.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I would go with aliens. Producer Brian?
All right. Well, I'm terrified of aliens, so they have to be real.
I'm terrified of clowns, but those are real.
Rodney says, "Get me a body," and they'll believe it. Like, hey, is there any physical? I mean, this is the longest living Bigfoot ever. Is he like a Jedi? Does he vaporize when he gets killed or something? Or
all
what
right.
happens?
So let me be. I'm going to lay all my cards on the table. Every once in a while, I'll listen to Coast to Coast AM, and that's the show that comes on at like midnight and goes to 4 a.m. and it's like ghost stories or Bigfoot sightings or whatever. The thing that I've heard about Bigfoot is that they're interdimensional. So they'll come onto the planet, but then they can just leave. And that's why nobody can see them. But they're just here temporarily, and then they go to another dimension. So the thing is about Coast to Coast is they've got some weirdo people, like legitimately weirdo people, but they're fascinating. Like, okay, like, sure, you believe that you talk to Satan every Tuesday at 5. Like, okay, all right. And the host, one, has a great voice, and two, he's just like, well, tell me more about this. While I would be like, you're what? So like, but I sometimes find that interesting. So I just listen to that. Like we had on the show, Jim Harold, that does the Jim Harold Campfire podcast and the paranormal podcast. Like, it interests me. I don't think it's real, but the idea of it being interdimensional, that's pretty interesting.
Wow. That's fascinating.
So how about that one?
It's pretty sophisticated for a big hairy guy. But...
I mean, he knows what he's doing.
No.
And also I've been watching the Skinwalker Ranch thing on TV, and I think that's pretty interesting as well.
You've been watching, what was it?
Skinwalker Ranch. It's like this ranch in like Utah, and they keep seeing like UFOs, and they can't quite figure it. Like there's weird phenomenon that's going on out there. They scientifically can't prove. They get these weird readings, and they can't figure out where that's coming from. So it's interesting. So there's that.
Oh, all right. So one more here probably. So this next one here. So a limo driver in Texas, he said basically he has a giant like truck limo is what it is. He was hired this week to wait outside of a federal prison for a guy by the name of Joseph Maldonado Passage. Thought he was getting Tiger King. Thought he was going to get a Trump pardon. So basically, they're the legal team, the Team Tiger, as they call themselves, hired this giant truck limo to wait for the pardon of Tiger King because they had asked ex-President Trump for a pardon. You just imagine, like, that's gonna be awkward just waiting because they all were waiting in the limo, like just hanging out,
right,
waiting for the phone call.
Did you guys see who? Yeah, I mean that's got to be completely awkward. Like you thought it was going to happen, and I mean you would think that maybe they just hide it around the corner, and then when he gets it, you're like, surprise, here we go. But I mean they had it out there ready to roll, right?
Yeah, they were just waiting on it because it was a sure thing, or they thought it was anyway.
He pardoned like
140
and 43 people.
Yeah,
it was a big amount.
I don't know.
Yeah, here's 140 part. I can pull the list up if we need to, but
okay,
studies.
Interesting.
Well, they got Carol Baskins buying on him not getting Tiger King not getting pardoned, and she's basically like, good. He needs to be in a cage just like he did with his tigers.
Oh, burn. All right. So that wraps up our wacky news. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Well, here on the Southern Fried Philosophy podcast, we have Vin Singh. He is the CEO, the founding member of Free Lunch Coffee. This is the coffee that is our partial sponsor for this episode. So we wanted to hear his story. I've listened to a couple of other podcasts that he gave that and did a fantastic job. And I'm really interested to know and hear his heart and have you guys hear his heart as well. So, Mr. Singh, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Jetty. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right. So tell us about Free Lunch Coffee. Tell us your story on how that started.
So Free Lunch Coffee is a social startup, and I'll tell you how it started. So I was living and working in Sydney, Australia for a corporate job. I used to manage currency risk. And it was a great job. I had a great life, and I had a great apartment, nice car, and everything else. But deep down, I wasn't still happy. I wasn't fulfilled. And that was shocking to me because growing up, this is what I always wanted. I wanted to have a nice job, nice life, and I would go anywhere for my vacation. I could go anywhere to eat, but still deep down, there was something missing, and that was surprising to me.
Yeah.
So I started asking questions, what is it that I'm still not happy in my life? And then I realized because I wasn't fulfilled in the job. That wasn't my purpose. The job I was doing just to get the paycheck, but it wasn't my gift. It wasn't my calling. So that was the reason I realized, okay, this is not the kind of life I want. So
Sure.
yeah, then I realized I was too comfortable in my life because it was addictive to get your paycheck every month and that kind of lifestyle. And for me to grow and evolve is really important. So I realized I cannot grow if I stay in the box I have created, in my comfort zone. So I wanted to face uncertainty and unknown, go outside my comfort zone, and so that I can grow and evolve and find what is my purpose, what is my gift, because I didn't know what is my gift. I was doing that job because just to get the paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And then I quit my job. That was a tough decision for me.
Did your coworkers know why you were getting ready to quit your job and give it all up?
I mean, it was more philosophical for me. So I told them I want to travel. And that was true because I realized I have to go outside to the new countries and new places and travel and find what is my purpose, what is my gift. So I told my coworkers, okay, this is really nice, but this is not my highest self. And I want to travel the world and see, who I am. I really want to find myself. So that was the reason I told, and that was true reason at the moment because I didn't know what is my gift, what is my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of lost in the good way, but I was lost.
Yeah. And where are you from originally?
India. So I grew up in India. I moved to Australia about 17 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what part of India?
Mumbai, Bombay.
Okay. Yeah.
Big city, crazy cities. Like imagine New York times double.
Yeah. I got the privilege to go to Delhi and Gurgaon for work and stayed there for a month. And man, it's so different. Like I came back and I was like, you are living in paradise, from that trip, because you see people in what I thought was complete poverty. Mm-hmm. And what blows my mind is they were happy. Like they were really, really happy, but they were like, they lived in shacks and mud huts, not huts, but, mud houses, but they were happy. And like, why do we have this idea that chasing money and money's going to make us happy? And it's not just in Australia or India, but it's global. We think that if we hit the lotto, everything is going to be okay. Why is that, do you think?
Personally, I believe we get distracted by money. We think like from money we can buy things and the things will give us happiness. But that's an illusion. I believe I worked in finance, so I believe money is not real. It represents value.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we get distracted by the money, but the money is the medium of exchange. So if you're a good coach, for example, so your value is you're giving good coaching services. And somebody is a good baker, they are making bread, for example. But you cannot exchange if they don't need your coaching services. So that's where the money comes in. Yeah. You have created a value and somebody has created a value by making bread and we exchange by a medium. So we get distracted by the medium. But medium is not the end goal. Like we get distracted by the map. but map is not the territory. So that's why we get lost, and that's why we don't find happiness in money, because money is not real.
Yeah. Do you think there would be more happiness instead of the exchange of money? And I know this, you got to have something to survive, but the focus wouldn't be more about the money for your coaching and bread example. Like, what if it's more just about community and spending time with those people?
Yeah, as long as we give them value, we create value and give value to other people. We reduce their pain, we give them value, we make their life better. And automatically we will get value back, because we live in, people like to give back. Nobody likes to get favor for free. So usually people, they will give you something back. And most of the time people use a medium of exchange. And that's how you get money. If we instead of focusing on money, we should focus on giving value. How can I create more value to other people and give other people, make their life better? That will give us more satisfaction, more fulfillment. And as a side effect, we get more money as well.
Yeah, I don't know, Ryan, about you guys, but I always feel so much better when I'm able to give money away than I am when I get money. Yeah,
it's a satisfaction you get, because you feel like you have made a difference. You have made in a small way, not just money. If you give somebody food, or you help your neighbor, or any kind of, if you reduce somebody's pain, that's where our gift comes in. If you are good in something, for example, you're good in podcasting, you make people's lives better. So you're creating value here.
I don't know if we have any value. We're not making people's lives better.
Because you're humble. Somebody who's listening and they're hopeless, they're tired, and you inspire them with your podcasts. Yeah, and it's free for them. So you're creating value, and eventually you get value back. Yeah. That's how the universe works.
So you're making a jack ton of money. You decide this isn't making me happy. I'm going to go on sabbatical. And how does that transform to, I am going to start a coffee company?
Well, it's a long journey. So I quit my job, started traveling. I traveled all over from California to Central America to South America. And while traveling, I was going to different culture, different countries. And I realized there's so much abundance and prosperity we have in this world. I really believe we all are connected. We all are related. Whether we believe God has created the earth in 7 days, or if we believe in evolution, we all came from Africa. Either way, we all are connected, and there's no better proof than COVID. Like, something happened other side of the world, and everybody got affected. So I really believe we have so much abundance and prosperity. And when I see like young children, especially when they die, they starve or they don't get enough food, that breaks my heart. For me, it doesn't make sense, because one hand we have like driverless cars on the road. Soon we will be going to the space for traveling. And on the other hand, we have children dying or getting sick due to malnutrition. So that doesn't make sense to me. So I thought, somebody should do something about it. Then I realized, I'm looking for my purpose, my mission. Why don't I do something about it? Even if I
somebody
make
needs to do this. Oh wait, that's me.
That's how I realized. Then I had a realization. I said, and I believe the Gandhi quote: "Be the change you want to see in the world."
So you traveled. So you traveled all over the world, right? And if I ordered some of your coffee last week, so are you based in Idaho? Or is that just shipping? Okay. It's like, if you went everywhere in the world and landed in Idaho, I really want to hear that story,
No. That's where our distribution center is.
Okay, gotcha.
That's funny. And also, too, if you're watching on Facebook Live and or YouTube Live and you have any questions, please feel free to ask, put them in the chat, and Magic Man will let us know if there's anything out there. Yep. So why coffee? Actually, let me back up. So at what point did you say this is going to be a coffee company and this is what we're going to do? I think I heard you were in San Francisco. Is that right?
Yeah, I started from there. Actually, I went to a crazy festival. It's called Burning Man. And that's how I started my traveling, from Sydney to Burning Man directly, wearing suit, and then become a hippie,
Yeah.
All good things started Burning Man, right?
Yeah. So to answer your question, so in the beginning, I wanted to start a charity, a nonprofit organization. So I was looking into it, and I realized it's really hard to get donations from people, especially if you're new and nobody knows you. Even if you, we all heard stories all those big charity companies, more than half of the money goes for admin. Mm-hmm. So nowadays people lose trust. They don't trust this big organization, and that's not the best way. And that's I was doing my research. I realized a lot of nonprofit, they don't survive because of this reason. They don't get enough funding. That it's hard for them to get the donations. Then I realized, okay, I want to offer a value. I want to create I want to sell where I can donate half of the money I make. So that way, as long as people buy stuff from us, we can continue making the difference. That way, we don't have to rely on donations or charity. We can, that's where I love gourmet coffee while traveling in Central America and South America. I found my love for coffee.
Okay.
So instead of, first I thought maybe I can sell T-shirt or bags, and if they buy a T-shirt, we can donate half of the money. Then I realized we cannot do one-off thing. Yeah, because then we have to keep selling because nobody wants too many T-shirts or shoes or bags. But things
right. You got to keep having something that people are going to keep coming back for, right?
Yeah.
You can't just be like, I got a T-shirt. That's it.
Yeah. But the coffee, tea, things like that, we buy every month, all the time. Then I realized, okay, I should, even though it's quite common, everybody's selling it, so competitive, but I realized if I can inspire people, instead of buying coffee from some big organization, if they can buy coffee from a company like us, then we have a reason. We are mission-based company. We are not, for me, if there was no mission, I wouldn't be in the business of selling coffee. So for me, the mission comes first. And that's why plus we need to pay staff, we need to do advertising, we need to do marketing, we pay our suppliers. So for that, and plus we have to pay our investors. So that's where 50% of the profit we keep for that. And I believe that's more than enough. And we can go from there. Yeah.
50% is a good chunk of money. Yeah. Like that's a lot that you're giving back. I mean, and your coffee, I mean, and we'll talk about the coffee in a little bit, but I mean, it's not absurdly priced. I mean, you buy something here. It ranges from anything. Brian, you're the coffee expert, but you go, I can get bags here for the same price I can get bags of yours shipped, right? Producer sure. Brian.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about you walk into a Starbucks and you get they sell it by the pound, and it's $13, $14, and Starbucks is keeping all that money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Whereas this, you might, the price is maybe a little higher, but it's going somewhere better, Yeah.
And our coffee is certified organic and fair trade. So we want to give the fair price to the farmer. We want to make sure it's good for the environment because we are here for the long term. That's why I chose not a cheap coffee. I wanted to pay higher price for the organic, for USD organic certification and then fair trade certification. So that's why, and plus it's not really high. It's like $15.30 to subscribe, and then you can get a bag of coffee from us.
Okay, so it's cheaper if you do the subscription?
Yeah.
It's like 15%, right? Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned earlier, it's really hard to get started as a charity. I know my wife has told me about this for U.S. businesses, a website called Charity Navigator. And this is just, if you ever think am I giving to a good charity, and how much the expenses are for admin or whatever versus it's actually going out the door to help those charities. You can go to that website, Charity Navigator, and we'll have that on our show notes as well, to confirm hey, this is a good charity or not, for US based ones. And I'll tell you too, Vin, and I tried to do the research because I'm also worried, are we going to have people come on the show it's not legit, is free lunch coffee legit? And I did the research, and 100% you guys are legit, and it's a real charity, and it is going to real children, and it is happening. So, our listeners and viewers can rest assured the money is going to those places. So you are legit.
Thank you.
So, no problem. So, how did you start on the coffee piece? So let's kind of move to the coffee, and then we'll also then talk about charity. So the coffee, you said, again, certified organic, fair trade. What roaster do you use from Idaho?
No, Idaho is our distribution center. The roaster is in Seattle, Washington. That's where all the coffee roast, like the best of the best coffee roasters, including Starbucks. They're from,
Washington. Seattle's best. That's where all the big coffee guys are.
The fancy folks. Okay.
I mean, my plan is to buy directly from the farmers, but that's the next step because at the moment, for that I need to get import license and all kind of paperwork. So to get started, I'm getting a distributor, like a wholesaler, a roaster, and it's in Seattle, Washington, and I chose, I wanted to make sure I get the certified organic and fair trade from them. So we are paying higher price for the top quality beans, and this is beans from Peru.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are those beans? And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, where like a bat eats them and then like poops them out, and those are supposed to be the best beans ever. Have you ever had that coffee?
No, but I heard it's quite expensive, and that's from somewhere in Vietnam or somewhere there in Asia. They make that kind of coffee.
I heard that's where COVID came from. I don't know. So, I mean, you can kind of think of it as like your company, Free Lunch Coffee, is kind of like almost like a Tom's Shoes, right? Like you want to be able to give back when you buy something. Now, you don't give a bag of coffee, but you give away free meals to children. So tell us how that whole process works.
So as I said, I wanted to start charity. Then I realized, okay, I have to start small steps. I cannot do everything in the beginning. So I started looking into charity I can support. And then I found this charity is called the Lunchbox Fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I'll take a step back. I wanted to support children to give them meal, but I realized if I give them meals in the school, then we can solve many problems at the same time. Especially the children in Africa, they are so poor, they are starving, they have no motivation to go to school. They cannot walk hungry belly for a couple of hours, a couple of miles, because their schools are so far. So they stay at home, then they go into the drugs, crime, all kind of bad things. Then I realized, okay, so like if I start supporting giving them meals in the school, they will have motivation, and parents will have motivation to send their kids to school because they know this is the only meal they get all day, and this is highly nutritious meal. So that's where my inspiration comes. Okay, if I give meals to the school, children will go to school. They don't have to worry about meals. And I believe every child has some natural gift. If a child has to worry about their next meal, they cannot focus on what their gift is. They cannot enjoy whether it's playing soccer or they can be a good teacher or nurse or doctor, whatever. But if they go to school, then they're getting good meals, and then they're getting education, and they can focus on their gift, and they are getting off the street, drugs and crime. So we are solving so many problems at the same time. And I really believe education has power for change.
Yeah. So where's the money going to? You said Africa, is that right?
Yeah, South Africa. So I started doing my research, and I realized I want to really check in. So I went to South Africa by myself. So I wanted to really check, okay, whether it's a legit organization or not. And you can see, as you said, Charity Navigator, they are on Charity Navigator, and they have 90% plus or 95% almost plus rating.
Nice.
So I checked there as well, and still I wanted to check in person. So I went them a surprise visit. One of the schools they support, I said, okay, where you? Yeah, they support this school. So I didn't tell them. I booked a ticket to South Africa and went to one of the schools they said. And I went there and I started speaking to the project manager. I said, okay, how's it going? and it was a school for autism. And there's there was non-profit school as well, and they're supporting autism kids to teach them surfing. I said, you guys are doing pretty good job. And how do you get your food supplies? How do you? They say, oh, we get the meals from the lunchbox from. So I said, okay, how much you pay for them? I wanted to check, make sure they said, oh, no, it's completely free. They do this charity work for us, and they provide this meal, the lunchbox for every day. Then I realized, okay, this is a real deal. They are doing what they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I picked them, and I started supporting them.
How has that changed your life personally to see what you're doing and making this coffee and selling this coffee and then seeing those kids be able to eat? How's that changed you?
It gives me a fulfillment. It gives me, there's a meaning to my life. It gives me purpose. I can work all my life for this cause, because such cause is such a big cause. Like, if we can reduce, my goal is to have no child go hungry in this planet Earth. And I really believe that's possible. If Coca-Cola can go anywhere in the world, then we can have children in every school in the world. That's what I believe. With the power of marketing, with internet, with people with awareness, we can give more awareness, and they can start supporting company like this.
Yeah. What were some of the difficulties when you were starting the business and starting it up, like that you ran into? Did you have a lot of red tape, or was there issues? Or
I wanted to launch last year June, and I started working from February last year, and I couldn't launch before November. Plus, COVID didn't help me either. So everything was delayed, and then I put all my savings in this project, because it's a lot of this coffee is a lot capital intensive thing, and I had to order a lot of minimum 400 pounds. I didn't know if I'm going to sell.
Wow,
it's a lot of investment, and then the investment for distribution and everything, and I didn't know if it's going to work. I've never ran a business. I always work for corporate.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And now I'm realizing, internet marketing is totally different beast,
Sure.
Online marketing. So it's a big, huge learning curve, and I'm learning a lot, and I made a lot of mistakes, like ordering too much coffee, for example, things like that.
You're learning, right? You're learning.
Yeah.
Is the overall the company doing pretty good? You're excited about where you're at?
Yeah. I mean, we are still in fancy. We're still trying to survive, but it's going in a direction, and it's getting a momentum, but it's still very slow. But I think if we can survive another couple of months, then we can keep rolling.
And on your website, you also sell like mugs and tumblers and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But is there a way that people can just say, just keep your mug, I just want to give to you guys?
I mean, I didn't thought about it, but we have a gift cards on our website.
Okay.
So if you don't want a coffee or you don't want a mug, you can buy our gift cards, and you can give to somebody who loves coffee.
Okay.
That way you are doing a multiple level. You are giving gifts to somebody you love or somebody you hate. Either way, you're changing their heart. You're making their life better, because somebody loves coffee, but you hate them, you still give them a gift, and they will start loving you.
There you go.
Wow.
Love thy enemy.
Huh. I wonder who said that. Somebody said that, right?
Yeah.
Love your enemy.
Yeah. So that way, plus you are helping children as well. You are helping us to survive as well. So you are doing too many goods, even if you don't love coffee. So I'll highly recommend supporting and buying some gift cards if you don't drink coffee.
Magic Man is wondering, will you do hot chocolate, because he doesn't drink coffee?
That's my goal, but I love cacao. So my next product will be selling cacao. That's why in the moment I'm in Ecuador, and I'm meeting a lot of cacao farmers here and coffee farmers.
Where are you at right now?
In Ecuador.
You're in Ecuador right now?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Because I wanted to meet the farmers, but I'm here for a long time. I want to do first and everything. I went to South Africa to meet the charity. Then I'm here in South America and meeting the farmers. And my next product will be cacao as well. So I'm meeting the cacao farmers and coffee farmers, so I can connect with them. I see how they do, what's their challenges, and then how can I support them.
Oh, wow. So there you go, Magic Man. You're going to get some chocolate coming up.
That is so cool. Yes. We'll keep an eye out for that.
Thank you.
So where do you want to, so chocolate's next. Have you thought about what's happening after that? Where do you want this company to be in the next 5-10 years?
So I want this so that we can be self-sustainable. We can have enough awareness so we can start our own charity. And we can go to the worst hit countries in the world, in Kenya or somewhere else, and start our own charity and feed them directly and make a bigger and bigger difference and bigger impact. So we know, okay, the money is coming. We don't have to worry about getting donations or charity because we have a business funding our charity. So I want to focus on charity, but once we start getting rolling, then we focus on how can we make a bigger impact. And that's my goal to first off, I want to go where people need most help. So Africa is what I heard, what I know, but we know they are the most needed area, most needed continent in the world. So that's where my goal is to have all over Africa, in every school, children getting breakfast and lunch. So, they can go to school, they can learn, they can, then eventually they want to give back. That's going to make our whole world different. Somebody become a scientist, somebody will find a solution for disease like COVID or anything else, cancer or whatever. So that's where I think we can make a ripple effect.
It blows my mind during COVID of how much food was giving away at the schools to the kids. It was, the buses were going around just giving away food. People were begging to take the food because we had so much of it. And we don't really take that. We take that for granted here in the States, right? Like we say kids can't go to bed hungry. Totally agree. 100%. But they are getting breakfast, lunch, and sometimes a dinner sent home here in the States. They don't get anything somewhere else, so they don't have that option. So my heart bleeds for that as well. That's a fantastic charity that you've done, and my kudos to you, sir. Fantastic job. I'm so excited to have you on and to hear your story. Guys, do you have any questions for Vin? Producer Brian? I think he's gone. Where did Brian go?
Yeah. I don't really have any.
That's okay.
This is good. I mean, I love learning about this.
Awesome.
It's a great program.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if you want to buy some, what's the website that you go to, Vin?
freelunchcoffee.com. And we have an Instagram at freelunch.coffee. And I have created a special discount code just for your audience. It's Southern Fried. If you go on freelunchcoffee.com, use coupon code Southern Fried, you get 10% off.
We appreciate that. This is probably, I shouldn't do this. After I ordered it, I realized, why did I use my coupon code? I should have not done that so that more money goes to the kids.
That's okay.
I was like, oh, well, I should have done that. Producer Brian, do you have any questions for Vin?
No. Have you, with the coffee, are you looking into broadening your offering of that? Or are you going to stick with the one?
Absolutely.
You do different blends or roasts or whole bean even?
Whole bean. My next step is as soon as we have enough customers, as soon as I can afford, and within a month or two, I'll be starting whole bean. I realized whole bean should have been my first product. I didn't know. I thought maybe more people love grounded coffee, but not everybody has the machine to make grounded. I wasn't sure. I was confused. Whole bean and grounded.
Yeah, it's a tough decision because I know personally, I'm a bit of a coffee snob. Apparently,
he is. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I like to grind my own. I think this is just me, the way I think. I think at the price point you're at, people that are looking at coffee in that area are looking for the beans, probably.
Beans. So I can move to the beans because we are not making that much sales in grounded. So I was thinking, should I move to ground beans?
It's also would help with, I think it may help your longevity of freshness because once it's ground, it goes stale a lot faster.
Yeah.
Too. So there's things like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
I'm still excited about hearing about the hot chocolate.
We'll make you what is it? The mocha, mocha coffee.
Mocha, yeah. It's espresso with the chocolate sauce in it. Yeah.
We'll sweeten it up for you, Magic Man. We'll make it palatable for you.
Okay.
And we had the coffee. Like I brewed it today. I got it in the mail. It was vacuum sealed. Opened it up today. Producer Brian had some today, and it's a good cup of coffee. I would choose it over Starburnt any day. I'll be honest with you on that. Like I'm not a Starburnt guy. And it's better than QT, so there's that. But it's a good cup of coffee.
That's saying a lot right there.
It is, man. Sometimes QT can nail it.
The gas station here.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Ben, that's a gas station here that has a lot of coffee options. But no, Vin, I appreciate you coming on the show. Again, freelunchcoffee.com. For any of you guys want to order some, we would appreciate it. Use promo code Southern Fried. Again, they have coffee mugs. If you don't drink coffee, order a gift card and then give it to somebody that you don't like. That would be awesome. But bottom line, one bag, and again, confirm, one bag of coffee feeds 10 meals. Is that right?
Yes, one bag.
Wow.
Yeah, coffee, mugs, or tumbler. Each one of them gives 10 meals.
Oh,
if you buy one coffee, one mug, and one tumbler, that's 30 meals.
30 meals.
Yeah.
Good gracious. Wow. That's like a month.
Yeah.
If you do one meal a day. That's fantastic. I'm going to go buy a tumbler.
Thank you.
This, don't tell them, but this is their Christmas gift for next year.
Plus, our mugs and tumbler, they are made in USA. So it's like homemade. And so you're supporting the local manufacturer. So like I want to make the whole, it's not like I don't want to buy cheap stuff. So my whole goal is to help the manufacturer, help the farmers, and do the charity at the same time. Yeah, so that's my whole idea.
Very cool.
Everybody wins.
Yep. It's a win-win-win. And again, thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. I mean, 10 meals to kids for one bag. And every time you drink that coffee, you'd be like, I'm helping a kid. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's another mouth fed.
Another mouth fed. And we've got too many of them, right? We can step up, do a little bit more. So I appreciate Vin coming on the show. Next week, gentlemen, we've got Dewan Curse. He is a friend of mine, again, from West Philadelphia, going to tell about his story growing up in America, in the city. So I'm really looking forward to that. Dude's got a cool story, so appreciate that. Anything else you guys want to add before we head out?
Not for me.
I don't think so. Yeah. If you have any wacky news you want to send our way, headlines at sfpradio.com. Make sure you hit us on the socials. Like and subscribe, all your podcast places. Give us some love out there. Help us get the numbers up.
Absolutely. Again, just want to remind you, freelunchcoffee.com. Use promo code Southern Fried. Freelunchcoffee.com. We'll have the link on our show notes. Also, and I know I teased this last week, but Biggun had a life-changing event, and it wasn't the bidet.
Oh.
So I will share that story next week with Dewan. I'm sure he'll want to be part of that. So you'll want to tune in because that was a life changer. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. This is the Southern Fried Philosophy Podcast. And as always, keep looking up.